I got this all torn apart. What they had was a hearthstone. I'm not sure. I think it's marble, some kind of marble. You can see the veining there. It's just dirty as all heck. And so, anyways, probably got reused off something else because it's got this chiseled mortar recess into it. I don't know what it came off of, but they used it. This whole thing was like, when I tore the firebox, it had WW coal fire brick in it, and those were made just for a period of about 10 years between like mid-20s, 1920s, and into the 30s. So that dates this thing, 100 years ago. So give or take 90 years ago. I don't know. But anyways, they had that just sitting on some sand in front of the fireplace here. Had some brick under it. The floor joist. I cut their floor joist back to get that in. The foundation under here, under this wall, the foundation, starts here and it comes in. It ends about here. So what I am going to do is I'm going to taper. I'm going to take these brick out. This course here, this row, the first row, take them right out, and probably maybe some of this next row underneath it. And I'm going to taper cut this joist at an angle down this way, so that I can get probably over here. I can get 2-3 inches of concrete or something, and then pour a pad out through right on top of this old pad, because this old pad's got one crack in it, and it doesn't. I think it's just the top. I think they poured this pad that everything was sitting on. They poured that over some rock and block and brick and everything that's down below here. So that doesn't seem to be moving. The foundation itself, I don't want to really mess with anything here, because this thing's been here for 100 years. It's settled. It's not like pulled away. There's no cracks against the actual foundation itself in here. It's all good. I don't want to disturb it and then cause problems. So what I'm going to do is maybe break this portion off and re-pour that with new concrete, or just pour. I think it's fine. I'll just pour about a 6-inch pad or something like that, 7-inch pad, right out over this again. Ideally, what you want to do is have your pad come all the way in under you taper it where the hearth would start, from 6-7 inches, 8 inches, whatever it is, up so that you end by the end of the hearth that you're at like 3 inches or something like that. And that lessens the weight and everything that has the cantilever out over, and you put rebar in it and everything. So that's a fire break, right? So ideally, the pad, there wouldn't even be any joists in here or anything like that. It would all be boxed out. Those joists would be headed off back to the other joists that are on the other side, on either side of it, and then you do that. I am not going to do that in this situation, because the joists on the other side, they're like 4 feet on center, or 2. They're actual logs. They just had these put in. I don't know why, but there's a couple of these down in the basement. But on the either side of this is just hand-hewn logs. It's not totally necessary. Your firebox, the actual firebox, is going to start right about the inside of the wall. I'm going to have one course of brick, or it's going to actually end up being stone, but I'm going to brick it for now because they're not sure what kind of stone they want to put on it. So when they figure it out, I'll tear the brick off and put a stone surround. Probably something really simple, like a 3-piece, one on each side and one across the top. Stone, granite or marble, or maybe even slate or something. But anyways, the firebox is going to start here and come out. So the way they had this set up. There's pretty much, right in there is where the firebox was, and there was no mortar or nothing between that hearthstone and the firebox, and so any embers, they got lucky in many different ways here, but any embers could have come right down in. So what I'm going to do is, you know, I'm going to make sure that the concrete, you know, that's poured solid through there. Any heat from the firebox and everything is going to be basically outside of the house anyways. And the only thing you really have to worry about is like an ember falling through the joint between the hearthstone and the fireplace opening. So I'm going to make sure there's a good 6-8 inches, probably 8 anyways, it'll end up being, of concrete solid underneath that. So if there is any embers that ever did make it down through, they wouldn't, there's no chance of fire. And like I said, all the rest of this box is going to be outside, you know, so we're not going to worry about that. But that's where we're at here. I'm going to clean this up, tear some of these out, and kind of do some thinking.